What clues did that wooded area hold? Let's ask forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Baden. He joins us live. And former LAPD homicide detective Mark Furhman joins us by phone. Let me try and ask you a question in the most sensitive possible way. I'll go first to you, Dr. Baden, and Mark, you might want to take a stab at this. When I come home at night and we have our garbage in an enclosed can and the garbage is closed tight, and there might be like a dog food can that's been cleaned out but's in that bag, I have raccoons that will somehow find their way in it and throw everything all over. It just happens. How is it in December, if that bag was there for any time, why wasn't everything all over? Dr. Baden.
Well, it depends on what kind of animal activity there is. And as long as the plastic...
There are raccoons down here.
Are there raccoons?
There are raccoons down here.
Oh.
There are raccoons.
Because, and we were down with Chandra Levy where the large bones were distributed over a long area. In this instance, as long as the plastic bag is intact, there's going to be very little odor alerting animals. As soon as that plastic bag is punctured by small animals or rodents, then there'll be a lot of insects and a lot of animals around. If there's a raccoon around, the raccoon could have entered that plastic bag and strewn all of what's in it around. You're absolutely right. So it sounds like, from the fact that all the skeletal remains, as stated by the medical examiner, were still pretty much in that plastic bag, that a raccoon didn't get at it.
You know, Mark, here's the thing is, I try to look at it both ways, the prosecution and defense side, and unless that bag is hermetically sealed, I mean, like, granted, maybe we're not so great at throwing our trash out, but it's also sealed in a trash can too, I cannot understand how it is that that everything's intact in that bag. It's so curious. It's almost handing one to the defense.
Well, I think it is, Greta, and what's interesting about all the circumstances surrounding where the victim was found is some of the things that I would be interested is what is on the bag or in the bag or on the tape. Is it indigenous to the area that it was found, the vegetation, the soil, especially if there is some evidence of some kind of a garden flower or vegetable or man-interrupted fertilizer to the soil, and that would imply that it wasn't always there, that it could have possibly completely decomposed in a controlled environment where animals couldn't get to it. Once it was disposed in that area, then that the status of that victim at that point was as we saw it in the video, or as the police found it.
Well, it's almost, Dr. Baden, here's the situation. You've got the meter reader calling in August and saying 3 times called. You've got Tim Miller and EquiSearch searching the area. You've got citizens searching the area. I mean, it's just, the whole thing's weird. And then in December, they find everything intact there. It's just peculiar. I mean, not that cases necessarily fit perfect theories or anything, but that's just flat out weird.
It is. And remember also, the meter reader says in August he sees the bag from the roadway, just a little bit in from the roadway, and where you trekked through just a little while ago, it's a lot further in than off the roadway, so it may have
and let me explain something. Let me explain something else about that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me explain something else, because that was a question that I investigated today. And if you look deep in, you see it's like a jungle. Well, that jungle actually went up to the road, but when they did the search, they went in and, of course, they cut everything down so they could look through the soil or anything. Yes. So the jungle. I mean, I don't even know how you see anything into it, but he said he went in to relieve himself. He
said on your show that he could see the bag from the roadway, a little bit in from the roadway, so it may have been moved in further, maybe by water, by rainwater, but the baby weighed 31 pounds, so you need an animal like a raccoon to move a body like that. But as you say, it's very weird that there isn't more distribution of the contents.